I think I'm going to need a headset mic eventually so I can play with the dogs more than do the show.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
You heard me. What? Okay, I have a lot of things in my pockets.
You do. Now they're on the table.
Well, here's my new thing. My new thing is to introduce...
This is Harpo's bit you're into now.
What, it was his bit to taking a million things out of your pants?
Yeah, silverware a lot of the time. It was up his sleeve. Now the wallet came out.
It's not a wallet
Oh,
so
it's
much.
not a wallet. It's a joint dispenser.
Some smoked joints in there already.
Nice.
The thing that's nice about the new pot laws is that you don't spend any money for the packaging. That's the thing that's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not paying extra for,
No, not at all.
for the beautiful, ornate, well, not ornate,
All right.
but certainly this is not your father's cigarette pack.
Think of how many things like that you saved when you were young to keep pot in, though. Like, if you would have seen that, if that was like a cigarette case or something,
I would absolutely
you would
keep
have
that.
snatched it to keep pot in.
I kept pot. Well, first of all, and I don't know if this was true of your life, but for the first many years, I didn't have tons of tins
No.
to choose from. If we had a tin, we were happy to have it.
It was all film cans back in the day. In my youth.
No, but you could buy mints. No, I've always been a fan. I don't know if the listeners are sitting, but I've always been a fan of little tchotchke containers.
Yeah,
Little,
like your Altoids kind of thing.
Altoids, but even differently. Like it could say snuff on it,
Yeah.
or it could say that can't be my only example.
Wow.
So stupid. But also little wooden boxes.
Yeah.
You know what's bad about the radio and me is I'm not very good at describing things.
Right.
So-
a lot of hand gestures.
Not as much as Beto.
No. His are a little crazy, but
You know, I liked Beto until that one time. You don't want to drop acid with Beto. I'm telling you, because every minor revelation is like he's in your face with it.
yeah, it's Epiphany Central with him.
Are you thirsty? Let's go get some Coca-Cola. I know he doesn't talk like that. I actually don't know how he talks.
No, it'll take a while to get the Beto down.
He doesn't have a Texas accent per se, does he?
He probably does, but it's more subtle than the sketch comedy version that we think of.
I will say that I don't want to talk about Beto right now, but I will talk about him later and forever.
Yeah? Are you getting on board, Team Beto?
I'm not getting on board with Team anybody. I liked some of the things the Pete Buddha Who the Ha Ha said.
Yeah.
Buddha Who. What's his name? How do you pronounce his name? Gag. That's what he says.
It's Buttigieg, I think.
No, it's Buddha Gag.
Or Buttigieg.
I love this kind of comedy, Josh. I'm so pumped up, like I dropped
The
something.
schoolyard bully make fun of people's names comedy.
Hey,
Yeah,
fuck
that's
you.
great.
What's your name, Josh? More like Josh Shit.
All right.
Okay, well, now you have to.
I'll wear
into
that.
it. Hey, you walked right into that. What's your name,
I
Josh?
stepped in that.
Hey, you don't know Josh Shit. A little better.
A little better.
I don't think there's anything that you can have a curse word in that doesn't. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, so I'm here tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of the Thought Spiral
Yes.
Show.
Test Show 99. Really
Oh, my God.
Really our 100th episode, technically, but not our 100th test show. Because we did the best of, and I didn't number it.
Oh, does that mean that it's always going to feel wrong?
No, I just wanted to be pedantic.
So we have one more show to go to 100 shows,
Yes,
and
we
people thought our fan thought we wouldn't make it. When we
Right.
first started, our two fans didn't think we'd make it to 100.
Right.
And the third person, and we had a third person who left town very quickly.
Right. When we first started, we didn't have two fans that we could rub together.
And now we do.
Now then we got two, and we rubbed them together.
And next thing you know, there was a lawsuit.
And they told two friends. And they told two
It
friends.
sounds very
70s?
sexual.
No,
it doesn't. You know, I can't even do. I'm too old now, I think, to even do. I really am too old to do.
You don't have to
sexual.
convince me.
Yeah, but does anybody want to hear a guy my age cracking sexual?
Not so much. No. That's what your wife said.
On my wedding night, and ever since then. First of all, whenever I approach her for sex, I'm trying to think of a joke. She says, "Why belabor it?" No. She says, "Oh God." All I can think of is Bill.
It's not your birthday.
Oh, that one got in. Oh, so how are you? How are you, young Josh? I was so confused because we're taping on a Sunday night, which we don't usually tape.
No.
That's not our night.
We're accommodating me, and I appreciate it.
And I'm going to have to, I didn't realize I had a benefit on April 7th at the Comedy Store. I think that's another Sunday night that you wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel it's very important. You know what we don't do enough of during the show is scheduling things, picking out the movies, doing things like that. Although I watched the movie today.
As did I. I mean, I watched it yesterday, but
I got it on cable. Did you get it on cable too?
No, I couldn't find it on cable.
I got it on my Time Warner system.
Wow.
$2.99 to rent it.
Oh, it was rentable. That's the deal.
Oh, is that how they?
I thought you meant it was like there on paper, on demand.
Oh no, but you don't. There's not. You don't get. I'm not going to say that. I'm sorry, I mispronounced the name. It's Spectrum.
Yeah,
and it really is Spectrum now. I don't know if you feel the difference. I feel the difference.
Right.
I love the Spectrum commercials because this is a company, and I'm sorry if I get too excited, but this is a company I really think is going to make a difference. Because what do they tell you in their commercials?
They say if we don't care about your needs, it's because we're on the spectrum.
And they also, what is their pitch, basically? We don't worry about it?
They have the monsters who don't like the...
Is that them? I'm so sick of those monsters. I feel bad about them. But I would hate to be... But I don't think they can... Literally, those monsters can be funny anymore.
My old friend Vicky Kelleher is the girl monster.
Is that Vicky Kelleher? Is it Tim Kelleher's sister?
No.
Oh. The actors have.
Oh, how could I have been wrong? Oh.
Let me do a let me finish thing. The actors are funny on the commercial. It's not their fault.
No.
I very rarely blame the actors unless they specifically, is that the right word? If they specifically take something.
It's not the word.
It's not it?
It's not.
It's beside the Pacific Ocean.
No.
If they specifically take something from me, then I hate people in general.
Yeah.
Because I need the work more than anyone does.
You feel like you didn't? Do you feel like that was taken from you?
No.
Okay.
Nothing has been taken from me.
Uh-huh.
I've done so poorly at auditions. You would think.
Because there isn't a hunchback.
That's the joke you went for? And you know I have a hunchback.
No, I didn't.
That's not funny. Oh, like you don't know that they call me.
I thought you were just looking for change.
Oh, like you don't know. Oh, you don't remember that they called me the Hunchback of Queens, New York? No, that's not funny. I thought I could come up with something funny of the Hunchback. You didn't know the Hunchback was from Queens?
It was quasi-funny.
Why can't you come up with these during the show all the way through? Why is it like pulling teeth with you?
I actually do. You just only hear about 60%.
I'm telling you, we're back. We're back, baby. I'm going to jinx it. I'm jinxing
We're back.
it.
We've
I'm
circled back
it.
around for 100.
I still have not listened. I still have not recovered from the accidental 10 minutes I listened to from the show that you read me the riot act afterwards.
I did not read you the riot act.
No, but it's just there's no way you can listen to me on that show and not go, oh my God, I have to maybe it's time to take a break.
The riot act was happening as it was happening. There was no post show scolding. I was scolding as we went.
Oh no, I didn't mean that. I mean, hey. Whatever you come out of this, I didn't mean that, buddy.
All right, that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like.
This is my new podcast guy. How's it going, buddy?
I would not want people to think we have post-show meetings.
Look, we don't seem to meet during the show. I don't want to say we don't connect a lot, but when we're both on the show together, sometimes I forget. I have to ask Josh, were you there that week? Were you there at Test Show 42? I want to thank Josh for allowing me to go through the whole riff, even though he knew it wasn't going to be funny. But maybe that was your bit.
I was allowing a wide berth. That's what I was doing. It wasn't giving you enough rope. It was a wide berth.
When I came over here tonight, I agonized a little bit because I didn't get here at 9. Did I get here at 9? No. Did I get here at 9:01? No. Did I get here at 9:05? I even doubt that. But the reason, I can always find a reason to hate myself. So the current reason I was hating myself was ever since Josh said, you got a 5-minute thing. So the way the kind of person you are, Andy, this is the person inside me. You know, Andy, you idiot, you're going to always make it by 9:05. He said he's allowing you 5 minutes. He's not saying please come at 9:05. So then I started to really hate myself. And the only way I couldn't hate myself was I thought the only thing that would be bad is if I came at 9:10 every week. That would start to get bad.
Yeah.
Because then I would take the 5 minutes as a, he said 9:05. I'll count 5 from there.
Yeah, it was a huge mistake saying anything like that to you. I know that now.
Why do you feel like
But it wasn't like a rule for you. You took it as my instruction to you, and I just said, my recollection is, because this happened over a year ago. I said something like
2 years, maybe.
It's LA, I don't notice for the first 5 minutes, and then,
Well, I think no one could argue with if you were only 5 minutes late. You wouldn't be the worst person in the world.
Right.
And I'm not the worst person in the world anyway. I have to say to myself, even though Josh hates me for being 4 minutes late, and he said bad things about my children. By the way, my jokes are my children now.
Well, then you were right. I've said bad things about your children.
Oh. I didn't have time to go over, I had 2 sets this week. We had a set, was that this week?
It was.
Okay, so that's what I'm confused about. It seems like I just saw you, and it's because I did.
Yes, it did. You saw me Wednesday night.
Not Thursday.
No.
We were at the lab.
Well, you did see me Thursday, because on Thursday we went to Greg Fitzsimmons' podcast.
That's right. That's right. And if anybody wants to, I know Josh is sick of hearing me talk about, do I have dementia or don't I have dementia? So if anybody wants to email me separately and tell me if it's a symptom that I can't remember anything from the day before until someone rings a bell for me.
Yeah.
Is that normal? Or is it the pot talking? It's the pot. Yes, but I had a nice, I did the particular show, and then I went with you to Greg Fitzsimmons, and then we did the improv together.
Yes.
Boy, if this show was just a show where it was popular just to be able to identify where you've been.
Things you did last week.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
In one sentence descriptions, yes. I think.
Be ahead of the curve.
Yes.
Wait a second. Don't tell me, Josh. Don't tell me. I was born in 1956.
Wow. Ouch.
You know what? That made your prostate enlarge.
It did.
I don't want to say he's old, but he is very old. I do feel like now, here's what I feel like. 10 years from now, when I'm 72.
Yeah. That was a weird laugh.
It is not a weird laugh. It's perfectly normal. That 10 years from now, I'm 72. Like when I think about being 72, I say, yeah, you can worry about being dead when you're 72. I don't want to worry about being dead when I'm 72. I want to have the same non-joie. I want to have the same nervousness for life that I have now. I don't want to give up my lust for nervous life.
Neurotique de vie.
What is it called? Yeah, neurotique de vie. But you know what? I think that I'm going to be one of these people. When I was younger, I could buy like 8 books about death.
Yeah.
And then after a while, go, this is not good.
I think there'll be at least a good 2 days after your death where you'll still have consciousness worrying about how you look as a dead person.
You know, that's interesting that you say that, because people who do believe in the afterlife, and believe me, I say afterlife, I'm ready.
Wow. You know, if you just talk like a regular person and don't just go off of
how would a regular person
set up cliffs?
Well, how would a regular person talk? Oh, is that what you want?
No,
Josh?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Hi, Josh. How is your week?
You know, if you're going to keep setting yourself up with these grandiose setups and then chirp, chirp, then what good are you? Really?
Well, that's true. That's true. In fact, it
come back next week. Well, we'll do punchlines for all of Andy's setups.
It happened last week in a meeting.
Yeah.
I started into a thing, got everybody's attention. Everybody was looking. I couldn't figure out what the hell I was going on. I can't remember the premise of it. But that's not the point. The point is that... What were we talking about? Do you know? Why isn't the podcast name What Were We Talking About? Who knows? Why do you call them thought spiral? It should be more like a thought running in place.
Yeah.
Not bad, huh? Not bad, huh? I'm the neediest comedian in the world.
Not just comedian.
Person.
Yes.
Not just the world. The solar system?
Sure.
Have you read any good books lately? I've only seen you in 3 days.
That's right.
Anything? I want you to. Is anything really gossipy happen or exciting that way? So stupid. I will say. I saw.
Don't give me your pretend interested questions.
Look, I have no interest in even what. No, I do have intense interest.
Let's work backwards from your list.
Okay.
How was your particular show?
It was very good.
Yeah.
And there were kids on there. These kids, I don't know if you've seen some of the kids today. These people, I'm 4 times older than them.
Yeah.
They call me Old Creek Face. They were very funny. This kid, Whitmer Thomas, who for some reason I never thought, I can't get out of my brain, Whit Thomas.
Right.
I say to him,
That was my first thought when you said it.
well, he's been. Why would I go up to him and go, have you heard of it?
Right.
Yes, he's heard of it. He's a very funny comic from Alabama, and he made me laugh very hard. And then all the people on the show were people I haven't seen that much.
Yeah. Because it's the particular show.
What do you mean? Oh, because it's always eclectic?
I just mean you aren't being particular. You didn't know any of them.
That's true. But you know what? I'm not involved with my career anymore. I have people who are handling it.
Yeah.
I don't even
clearly.
I don't even do my own monologues anymore. That's not me.
Yeah.
Talking about.
You just do setups.
Well, that's what I actually do. I do setups. Sometimes I write a really bad punchline so I can have something to reference.
Yeah.
No, come on, Josh.
What?
You're going to give these nice people the image that it's not just a joke. Everyone knows I'm a great writer and easy to work with.
Right. It goes without saying. And you said it, so now it's doubly reinforced.
Josh said something very nice to me. Very nice to me. And I don't think we have to repeat it because it's too, maybe we could.
If you'd like.
I don't think so because I don't think I would be, first of all, I'm not demanding it because I think if you go.
You brought it up though.
Yeah.
So
but
now it's kind of a dick move.
Well, he said something very nice to me and then my therapist said, sit with that thought. And then my wife was very impressed too by the thought. And I don't understand why I can't recall. You would think I could be able to recall a story and at least keep some of the excitement of the event. Why do I ruin? I start into a story, I start sweating.
Now, what did you relate to your therapist that I said to you?
You said to me, and this could be wrong. This is why I'm afraid to say it. Maybe you said to me, I don't think you realize. I think you said. You want me to be embarrassed?
I kind of do.
Okay, because I thought you were saying how much the people in my life love me, but I don't think you used the word love.
No, I did. I just said that you were definitely a beloved guy, and that the people who like you intensely, and you don't have to be reticent to, call them up. You don't have to have an inferiority complex when asking them for things, and
I know, but
do you want to do a set or whatever? That's not something you should feel shameful doing.
This is what you're putting. What Josh is putting his finger on. Well, I don't know why I'm saying they know who you are, but what you're putting your finger on is this thing that I did not realize was actually gumming up my entire life. Not following through on returning phone calls and all these things is bad. Is bad enough on its own, but the way I would exaggerate the importance of the thing I was asking,
right,
and the importance of how the person responds, or the endless assumptions I've made in my life about how I'm sure people will respond, and I'm almost always not always wrong, but I'm wrong a lot.
Yeah, I mean, my point was you have built up, and I said this the other day. I mean, you have personal capital that you've built up. Like we went to Greg Fitzsimmons' show the other day. He was very excited you were there. He was excited to get into it with you.
Right.
He was less excited that I was there, but I think I won him over time.
You did. You heard I think Greg sees it as a sexual relationship between me and him.
Yeah.
And I only say that based on the after podcast sex. Wow.
Wow. Well, the wow at the end kept it from being a Joanne Worley impression. So.
Well, that's what they have in the Mayfair. Yeah, when they sing those Mayfair commercials. Mayfair, you're a little bit, yeah. Yes. So I do, I do accept that. And I also, the thing is that, the idea that a friend, I can't say his name, but the idea that a friend of mine was actually in the hospital doing badly, and I had to actually wake up. I hadn't been keeping in touch, and I wanted to keep in touch with him, and I wasn't keeping in touch with him. So I have no excuse for it, except that when I thought he was going to, it shouldn't take when you think someone's going to die to go and visit them.
Right, but don't spin that into you being a bad person.
No, that's the other way. Both of them are there's a narcissism on both sides of that.
It's true.
It's very easy to become the go too far and continue not to learn the lesson, which is the selling of yourself out, going, you're a terrible person, you're a horrible person. It's almost easier sometimes just to say that.
Yeah.
And it's certainly could certainly be a cop out.
Yeah. Well, and it's certainly a reflex with you at this point, you know.
What do you mean? Bink. Do you think that was funny?
It wasn't.
It's a reflex.
It wasn't. Yeah, I mean, it was. Yeah.
What are you accusing me of? No, it doesn't. It doesn't quite.
It was fast, though.
It was fast.
It was fast. Like it was reflexive, and that was good.
If nothing, it was fast.
Yes.
Okay, so that was very helpful to me. I told Susan about that. And most friendships, I guess people don't say things like that to each other that much. You know, most of men who have a friendship, they're giving themselves wedgies half the day. They're going, they're sitting in a restaurant going, would you do her? Would you do her?
Right.
Yeah, you know, like the male version of Sex and the City.
But we've both been married for 20 years, so no one's doing anybody.
No one's doing anybody, and no one. Well, first of all, I don't want anybody to get the idea that I would say, would you do somebody?
Yeah.
That's not me. But until about 10 years ago, I'd be like, hey, 3 o'clock. With like a slobbering mule.
Well, I'm glad that you're tasting some of the fruits of friendship. I mean, I have a lot of friends that friendship is really important to me. I'm not saying like, I'm a great friend, but I'm saying that like it is important. There are, there's a handful of people with which I am, conscious about keeping communication at least semi-active at all times.
That's very important. And as you say, the more you veer, look, if somebody, like I look at things and I go, what if I would regret almost every person who died in my life. And at some point I have a regret. Like I could have been, I can't stop myself because that's actually an illness, the OCD, so I can't stop myself from going, oh, why didn't I do that? But it's a very, very, actually it's the flip, is the problem. It's the problem that keeps me frozen to begin with, is constantly thinking, how are people perceiving me and what should I do?
Right.
But also, for me, which I don't think is true for you, well, for me it's like, I never realized how much I hated doing pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And I can't say that these things, now I'm enjoying going shopping for grocery. I mean, I'm not saying I love it, but if a typical example is, I don't know if we talked about this, where I'll get up in the morning and go, oh God, I have to do a gig tonight. Like that, I used to immediately let that affect my day negatively.
Yeah.
Why am I doing that? What's the point of that?
Right.
That's a learn. I'm not in the forum or anything, so don't get scared. But that's a learned response.
Right.
And to just be able to bring attention to that and go, why? It's normal for me and my family to dread going out in public.
Right. No, it was normal for me too. I mean, my parents were actually fairly social.
Right.
But there was always bitching. There was always bitching, and certainly between Allison and I, we are a dread-filled household. There's almost nothing that comes across. I mean, I don't wake up and go, oh, I have a set tonight. But by five, I'm like, oh, I have a set tonight. I'm an old man. Do I need an 11 o'clock set? What is this really going to do for me? This 11 o'clock set.
Well, you definitely have a Jew in you, a middle-aged Jew.
Oh, yeah.
Who's like, oh, come on.
I've had it since my teens.
Yes. You call this room service? Well, not so much like that. You're not an obvious guy.
No, I mean, I'm judgy as shit, I think, but I'm.
But you're low key about it. I mean, you're easygoing.
I'm polite about it.
Yeah, well, you're easygoing. Yeah, right. Oh, great. You're not an oh great person.
No, not really. I'm actually a fairly optimistic person, and I'm not. I don't dwell on the negative for the most part.
I was positive until the Mueller report came out, not because of the Mueller report, but that when I start to see the cable go back into their usual patterns, like it's a big win for Trump.
Right.
I go, oh my God, I forgot how horrible it was before the election. and you go, boy, these people are just, maybe they can't see it, but they seem to, not all of them, but they go right into that, well, we know now that there's no collusion, when I never even went into it thinking, I didn't even know that there had to be collusion. I mean, I did think there would be more, and I think there's probably more. They just don't have the proof for it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it was a bad. I ended up turning it off very quickly.
Me too.
Because it's just like I felt sort of embarrassed for the CNN and MSNBC people with their
they were terrible.
Just trying to find some silver lining thing or trying to get out from behind their bias, which was very, and the Fox. I didn't even go to Fox, but I'm sure they were gloating and calling everyone idiots, and And I didn't,
because
it's so besides the point. The thing I tweeted today was just, oh shit, now you'll have to vote.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And that's exactly real. I didn't see that tweet. And so when I aggregate it as the fat Jewish and don't credit you.
But to me, the crime to me is that he won't cop to the fact that the Russians interfered with the election. From an ego standpoint, so he becomes a sort of post facto accomplice to it.
Well, the other thing who?
Trump.
Right, but the other thing is like...
And the real crime is he's a horrible person and a horrible president, who almost assuredly has left a trail of crimes behind him as recently as today.
Oh, and they're all going to be found out through state courts and things like that. But the thing is, like... It also brought into focus, Rosenstein obviously fucked up when he originally, there's no excuse for what he did. If he wanted to fire Comey was wrong. He knew he was writing something. I find it hard to believe he didn't know he was writing something that Trump was going to use.
Right.
So he made a cardinal sin or the original sin of doing, something kind of fucked up, I think. And then I think he tried to save, then I was rooting for him, really rooting, because he tried to get but ultimately, I think he's kind of a creep. Rosenstein. I think he's kind of a right-wing creep. And this guy, Barr, is also a right-wing creep. Mueller, I trust. Mueller, I think there's enough straight arrow cred from him that I trust what he did, but we don't even know what his opinion was because they lied about it. But these guys like Barr, I'm not saying I bought into that they would be fair, and I'm not saying if they had been fair, it would have been good if he was a fair person. But they're just henchmen for Trump. I just think it is like...
It doesn't matter. This is going to be such an old story in the week when we...
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll cut it off.
I mean, it's going to be such a different story.
That's true. That's true. But I'm saying, you know what I want to tell people about this? I hope you include some of my anger and some of my...
I will if you say it on mic.
I hope you include some of my anger because I think it's invigorating.
Yeah, it's such a new flavor for you.
Right. And there is going to be... But I'm just saying to people in general, watch this space. Okay? Why can't I say that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not angry about the outcome of the Mueller investigation. At least it got completed.
That's true.
I wasn't really praying that the president had colluded with the Russians. That wasn't my hope. You know? I mean, it would be nice if there was a convenient and easy unifying way to get Trump out of office more quickly. But, I always sort of thought unwitting puppet of Russia was just as likely a scenario when it came to Trump because everything evil he does is so transparent.
But when you compare... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So it's not like it's not like I'm mad that he didn't commit that crime.
Right. I agree with you.
But
although he might have.
But it's going to make for some obnoxious times.
He's always been unwitting. I mean, I never thought he knew what he was doing in any part of his life.
Right.
So he's always been an unwitting agent. He's not getting any. If he's getting any instructions from Putin, he's just the instructions are the way he works them. He just knows.
He doesn't need to get instructions.
Yeah, he's not going to. Yeah, exactly. The guy doesn't know anything. I mean, but absolutely,
his 100% predictable narcissistic behavior and fetish for strong men, makes it all fall into place.
But we know he was parroting somebody when he would say, "Oh, I'm for that." When they blockaded that one country, I forgot what it was. It was a dispute. The country that has Al Jazeera in it, Qatar, something like that.
Yeah,
they were all going to. And one day he goes, "I just want to say," whenever he goes out of nowhere to go, "I just want to say, definitely AT&T shouldn't move a plant into Akron. Whatever it is, he's repeating something that he heard.
Right.
And maybe we should be happy that he's retaining information.
Yeah, except for it's coming from Fox a lot of the time.
So I agree with you. We shouldn't have talked about it. I was wrong. I didn't need to bring it up. I don't know why I brought it up. And I'm talking about it more now, which just makes your day go longer.
Yeah.
But now I'm out of it.
There you go.
It's a new moment now.
So I'm off to Maine in the morning.
That sounds like a dream, a nightmare. No, Maine. It's going to be nasty rain.
Might be nasty rain. Might be cold. It'll definitely still be cold there.
I can get no feeling from Maine.
I know. I've been
there.
trying to write Maine jokes in my head, and I got nothing so far that's worth a shit.
Well, what's their capital? Providence?
Augusta?
See? Who is there? Is it who's who's their senator? Who's their governor? What makes them tick?
It used to be that Paul LePage guy, but now it's
what a horrible state. Get out of my.
They just legalized weed though, so
now I like it.
Yeah.
I know there's gotta be I know Ben and Jerry aren't specifically from there, but they might as well be, right?
They're Vermont.
They're from Vermont, but doesn't Maine have their own version of just leave the light on for you, or the who are those two guys? Thank you for calling. I'm Bartlesby. He's James. Thank you. Weren't they from Maine?
Bartles and James, no.
Well, who's from Maine?
Stephen King, I think, is from Maine.
And Murder, She Wrote lady, right?
I don't know.
Crab Cove, Cabot Cove. It's from.
Okay, yeah.
It's not. It's not at all.
Hawkeye Pierce is from Maine, isn't he?
You made me more depressed with having to think of that. That made me depressed. That's an example of the thing that I'm learning in therapy. Something triggers something, and you all of a sudden go to a mood, and you don't even know why you went to the
And MASH did it?
No, not really, but it's an example of. I mean, I always think of Scott Thompson saying that he doesn't like MASH because it's too green.
Huh, okay.
Look, I am so tired of delivering things to you. I was trying to explain what it's like to go into a car with you, and maybe I'll explain now. So
who are you explaining it to?
My wife,
okay.
Susan. And I was saying that sometimes Josh, he'll just get quiet. And I've learned to accept that that's the way normal behavior is. See, at first I got very nervous because I'm like, what am I doing? I mostly, when I'm in the car, people expect me to banter it up, baby. And the truth is, he's perfectly comfortable with long periods of silence because why should he be yakking all the time? Now, do I have any of that right?
I think that's true. I have no problem. I'm not afraid of silence.
But I am.
Yes.
I'm afraid of silence.
Boy, don't I know it.
Oh. Karnak says, man, he's had trouble with that in past. Now, there is that element to the relationship where I'm always trying to get you interested in something.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's always you.
No. It could be coffee.
Oh, okay.
It could be. What it is.
Do you think I don't have enough interest? Is that
no? Not in coffee. You hate coffee. You hate coffee talk.
I love coffee,
but you don't like coffee talk.
Not so much.
Did I tell you about some of the stuff coming out of Ethiopia? See, I knew. Look at you, and now you're asleep.
Not yet.
You're completely asleep.
Is there good beans from Ethiopia?
Don't start. Don't try. No. The point is, you don't like it. Doesn't you don't care about going on and on with it. And you don't like it. I mean, the thing is this: I want you to be so excited about everything I say.
Yeah.
And then I want to be able to continue to be hit and miss with what other people say.
Okay.
So So this is the kind of thing I think I've required, and why people haven't, gravitated towards me for friendships.
And they're not calling back is another thing.
They're not calling back is unforgivable. Look, let's put things in the forgivable and the unforgivable. Like, luckily, I saw my friend Chris Gaffney. Now, here's the thing.
See, but I cracked it. I cracked the whole code by being direct with you and going, Andy.
Yeah, that was good.
I didn't scold you.
No.
I just said this is important to me.
Yes, it was very good. I don't regret any of the horrible things that my friends and family have done to me because I've cut them off emotionally. Look, even when you had that intervention with me that time.
Which one?
When you thought it was my immediate family, but you got it completely wrong.
Yeah, well, I cast it. I casted who I figured your family would be like.
And then you had Bobby Collins as my
Right, as your
inspiration.
mother.
That's my mother. I'm very happy with the kind of improv we've just did.
Yeah?
I'm almost done with the Kids in the Hall book.
Good.
But here's the thing. Here's how narcissist. I decided to tell you how narcissistic is he. Okay? I started to think that my name is. This is going to be embarrassing.
Wow.
I started to think that my name is somewhere because there's like pages where they go Paul F. Tompkins, Schmicky Bobby, Patton Becker, about 12 people.
Yeah.
I thought.
I can't believe Schmeeky Bobby got in there before you.
I actually thought, how did I get this book? I wanted this book, but was Josh giving it to me because he thought it'd be fun for me to discover my name? And it's like, why would you don't have that much commitment to it?
No. In fact, I haven't really. I barely started reading it.
Well, the book is outstanding.
I just pre-ordered 2 copies because I pre-ordered one very early and then forgot I did and then pre-ordered one again.
No, it's very cool, and I'm almost done. And then I realized I haven't seen Brain Candy,
Yeah.
and I didn't see the second thing. They did a miniseries, like 6.
I didn't see much of that.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that, but they're still around now.
Yeah.
We can see them now. We don't have to go to the thing.
No, the thing's not necessary. I don't know what the thing.
What's the matter with both of us? No, the thing. Okay. Ooh. Maybe we should do.
What will you be doing this week?
You're going to Maine tomorrow.
Going to Maine.
See, I don't understand. Okay, it is Sunday, but if I don't tell myself it's Sunday more than once or twice, I don't feel like it's Sunday. It's not Sunday unless I'm watching Meet the Press and wanting to kill myself. If it's Sunday, it's not really Sunday unless it's pro football. Is how I sometimes feel.
Really?
Like I feel right now, there's no sports to watch now except when March Madness heats up. I'll watch the last 2 of those games, and then regular basketball, pro basketball. When is that going to start to mean something? June?
Depends how into it you are, I guess.
I'm telling you, hey, don't bullshit me. Don't bullshit me. When does it start to when does the playoff start? Is what I meant to say.
In a few weeks.
Okay, so I don't know why. I don't know who my character was here. I've watched so much. I'm scared that there's not enough true crime out there.
Yeah.
For me to, because I want all of it.
Right.
And I think I've been watching most of it.
There's a movie pitch right there. A guy's so addicted to true crime that he had to go out starting to commit crimes in order to feed his habit, which was actually not murder, but watching murder shows.
Now, my feeling is that's a great idea that will not sustain itself over 90 minutes.
It might not.
But could you?
Not. I mean, could I have paid a great deal? I would give it a try.
No.
I would give it a try.
You know how people write for me would be dying to write on spec? I don't know what I'm saying there, Josh. I was kind of thinking, are you going to remember that idea? Because I kind of like that idea. But what am I saying? I'm not making anything. I can barely do the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm making projects now?
Well, it's on tape, this idea of ours. Ours, he says. Generously, not worried that you were going to run with it.
No, there's nothing. Everything that is mine is yours. And I really feel that we should Lennon McCartney everything.
You think?
Not really. Did I dream this, or did McCartney?
Because they shared money, you know.
They what?
They shared money, too.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Exactly.
Is the mic out? Is this my imagination, or did McCartney at one point want to change the credit from McCartney Lennon if it was a song that he mostly wrote?
Yes, he had a little phase with that.
And here's the thing about
because
that.
He was worried about his name getting cut off on internet searches.
Oh, because it's Lennon McCartney. Well, me too. Then.
Yeah.
I think that he's I've always had mixed feelings.
I found that heartbreaking, by the way, that Paul McCartney was worried about his legacy. It literally had a profound effect on me.
Explain that to me more.
Because it made me realize that legacy is bullshit. It made me go, if he can't be secure in his legacy, then what? Why even worry?
Well, I think the lesson is why even worry.
Well, yeah, but then once you get to why even worry, then you stop thinking about legacy stuff.
You know what? I prefer to.
There's so many kids who are 18 now who have never heard the Beatles. and don't give a shit. And they aren't embarrassed by it. They aren't, they're belligerent when you give them shit about it. And they shouldn't have to because it's 50-year-old music.
Oh, no, they shouldn't have to do anything they don't want to do.
Right.
But I will say this. I think he knows he's Paul McCartney. I'm saying this in the right way. Like, he knows he was a member of the Beatles. Like, my whole life have wanted.
Oh, no, he does, yes.
I wanted to be a member of the Beatles, and I actually feel like I was more a member of the concept that I have of the Beatles than the Beatles were. Because I would watch them kibitz in the Hard Day's Night, and I created this whole world that was probably never them.
But I think millions of teenagers did that.
Just me.
Imagine themselves in the Beatles.
I started Beatlemania. Maybe other people. So,
Allison fantasized about being adopted by Paul McCartney as a kid.
Well, I just think that when you're that famous and you start worrying, maybe that's all you have to worry. What else could you worry about?
But that was a legacy worry. That wasn't, I'm a Beatle. He wasn't worrying about people forgetting him when he's alive.
Right. But he does, yeah, I guess it's weird to do anything where you go, look, I want to make sure. Like, for example, I've mapped out several.
It's just sad to me that much accomplishment can't erase that much insecurity.
I think you're right, because ultimately I want to cut him a break for it, and I do cut him a break because I love the guy, but I do think it's weird.
Yeah, and I actually he had like a phase where he was really irritating me for in most from 2000 to 2010.
Okay, give me some of the
post 9/11. He wrote the bad "Fight for Your Right for Freedom" song.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He wrote the Billy Ray Cyrus hit?
No, he wrote whatever his song was.
That's terrible.
And
I'm going to take these Sudafed. There's nothing you can do about it. I see you looking at me. You don't want me to be a person?
I'm looking at you the whole time, Andy.
All right, so you okay? And so was it a bad song as well?
Very bad song. And yeah, there was just a time, but now it seems like the last several years he started to settle into a slightly more self-aware, self-effacing phase.
Yes.
That's much more charming.
Well, I was listening to this show called I listen to everything. This one's called 1+1, and it's a show about like famous partners, you know? And they were talking about Lennon and McCartney. It was good. And the thing is that they both had such terrible tragedy, I think. Lennon and McCartney. I think McCartney lost his father, I think, fairly early.
No, his mother.
His mother, that's right. Okay. He lost his mother early, and Lennon lost his. He wasn't even living with his mother at certain points. He lived with his Aunt Mimi.
Right.
But his mother then got hit by a car.
Right. Julia.
She didn't notice that the lights had changed. I'm not making fun.
Why would you?
There's no reason.
Why?
I insist.
Because it's funny.
So they both had problems, and they both were like, I still love John Lennon. It broke my heart when he died, but I would almost refuse to see that he could probably be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was like, he's so charming, but then he would make fun of people for being mentally challenged and
hit women along the way.
Did he really?
Yeah.
And we'll be right back after these messages about people I will no longer be talking about on the show. And I know he tried heroin too. But
Why is that?
Why is that bad?
That's not a
I know. Why are you
disqualifier of admiration for me, really?
That's true.
There's been a lot of people I've loved who have tried heroin to varying degrees.
Well, no. I think trying heroin is not a judgmental thing. Like, it's bad. I guess it's my own projection. If I try heroin, it would, to me, indicate a certain amount of like
slippery.
But maybe it wasn't that way back in the 60s. Maybe they didn't know it was that addictive. I don't know what I'm saying. And I apologize. But the point I was kind of making was I never had a realistic view of these people, and now I see how Michael Penn. I'm not dropping a name, but I just did. Michael Penn. Yeah. He got me to like McCartney a lot more. But I always loved McCartney. But I always was like, as a kid, so susceptible to these stupid arguments. Who's the best guitarist?
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, I never was very big into those arguments.
Right. Or defending Lennon over McCartney.
Yeah. No, I was always more of I really don't care what you think. Posture about those things.
Right. Well, I had my issues.
But not that I didn't, desperately seek acceptance for my taste from other people. But,
How did that take shape?
but I just was never into those kind of debates. No, I was always like, especially when I was a teenager hanging out with 30-year-olds, I was, very prone to lie about what I had heard, But then I would always go by it.
What kind of lie would you say?
Yes, I'd heard that blood on the tracks or whatever.
Oh, I can't tell you how much lying I've done in have I heard this music group.
Yeah, but we've talked about this before, but I have to keep qualifying that because I know it's new to you, but to the listeners. I always was, fastidious about cleaning up my lies.
Oh, cool.
Like if I would make one of those lies, like, yes, I love blood on the tracks.
Right.
I would immediately go buy blood on the tracks and listen to it so that if it ever came up again, I wouldn't be in the same predicament.
I think
which is, sort of psychopath.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm not getting caught in that situation again. Right. Don't make me lie about Bob Dylan again.
But, I think at the time it was both a face saver and a sort of a weird backwards integrity that I was trying to, backfill my lie.
Right. But the other thing is that when I remember, it's very hard for me to talk about any subject. Like if I talk about music, it's very hard for me. The first thing that comes up in my head is, you failed at it. You know what I mean? It's like I have these beliefs that are so strongly ingrained in my head that make me actually limit my experience of things,
Right.
Or cause me like the one-upmanship. I have a one-upmanship that I never not a one-up. It is a one-up. It's like this person, I know this person.
Right.
But I never thought I had that. But I know that I'm hungry. I can see I'm hungry.
We're back to narcissism again, though.
No, but I'm hungry in a discussion to tell, like if you bring up a jazz guy,
right.
I'm all of a sudden going, I got to bring up a jazz guy now.
Right, I know.
Right. So we know that. I don't know, maybe you thought I didn't know that, but doesn't everybody have that to a certain degree? Or why? Oh, no, they don't maybe. Maybe they don't.
No, I don't think everybody has
That's
it.
true.
I mean, I certainly...
Don't.
No, I certainly do to some extent. I'm always good for a know-it-allism. But
yeah, but you're not like saying you're not waiting.
But it's not. I'm not wired like that. Like you. Like my brain doesn't go, how can I win this conversation?
Well, that's what I'm now. I'm saying this is the first time in my life that I'm unwinding that.
Yeah.
So in other words, there's so many things I've assumed. Like I assumed this song was Little Richard that wasn't Little Richard. I want to be able to. I want to get to the point where I go, oh, I'd like to say I know this song, but I don't know this song because it is hard when people go, I can't fucking what? You stop everything you're doing. That thing is like and I could be that way too. You didn't see this, that, and the other thing,
right? And
you almost want to punch people,
right?
Not really, but I don't know where I got off onto this. But you're a wonderful person. I appreciate the room. Thanks for letting me vent. Now I'm not going to lie anymore.
No.
No, I will, but I'm not going to. No, not the kind of lies like I can't say I've seen Truffaut if I haven't seen him.
Right.
And what am I gaining?
Well, that's what our little homework segment's about. That's a beautiful segue that you just made.
That's true. Because
that's us fessing up that we don't know these movies, that we should.
And
we didn't do our homework.
I definitely did not know Shampoo.
Yeah.
What year was it?
It came out in 1975.
Aha.
So it was a period piece about 1968. Although he started writing it in its time.
And it was written by Robert Towne?
And Beatty.
Yeah.
And it was the whole story of the movie is basically the battle between Beatty and Towne.
Really?
Yeah, because they had started writing this together back during Bonnie and Clyde, apparently. I did a little bit of reading out.
Did Robert Towne write Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes.
And directed it too?
No.
He's not a director. He's a screenwriter, or he does a director?
He might have directed
Personal
something,
Best, maybe?
But he is, no, that was Bob Fosse.
Oh.
Wasn't it? No, that was Star 80, was Bob Fosse. It was both Mariel Hemingway. So, so Towne, and it was Beatty's, I guess, idea. He and Towne started writing it together. Apparently Towne wrote a first draft. Beatty didn't like it. He wrote his own draft. They battled for years about it. And so he meets Hal Ashby at a party eventually, talks about it. But apparently, and Hal Ashby goes, yeah, there's a movie between these two scripts. there's a movie somewhere in the middle, basically.
Wow. Okay.
And but apparently it was all Beatty, and Ashby just got bullied terribly throughout the whole thing.
Good.
And Ashby's whole role was basically just sort of mediating between town and.
So they didn't even really let him direct
Beatty.
it, really, or
not so much. Beatty kind of told him what to do a lot.
Isn't he a great director, though?
I think so.
What else has he directed? Hal?
He directed Harold and Maude, which is one of my favorite of all time. Coming Home.
I love the direction of that movie.
He directed what's the one with Jack Nicholson, Randy Quaid, The Last Detail.
Oh my God!
Being There.
Wow.
So, and then he kind of went downhill after Being There, but he started as an editor, and I love his movies.
He's not alive.
He's not alive. No.
But the thing is, some people are sensitive, and if you got a guy who's riding over him roughshod, was Beatty like bullying? I don't know. First of all,
Beatty
I have
was completely bullying.
I don't
Beatty
have a negative. What's your image of him? I mean,
Beatty?
Yeah.
Narcissist, control freak.
And unpleasantly, or could be pleasant?
It depends what part of his charm spectrum he's, apparently he's maniacal about getting what he wants. So if you're giving him what he wants, he's probably pleasant,
Well, I thought first of all, I think he is, I was very attracted to him in the movie.
Were you?
Not really, but he is handsome.
He is handsome. There's a certain Warren Beatty-ness that I couldn't get over.
I've never. How many of those are there that you could watch? I've only seen Reds. How many movies has he been in where he's a Bonnie and Clyde?
Yeah, Heaven Can Wait.
It's been so long since
Bugsy.
It's been so long since I've watched him. Oh, Dick Tracy too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was him. I felt he was influenced by Then Came Bronson in this movie, which was like I couldn't hear a lot of the dialogue sometimes.
Yeah.
First of all, I enjoyed the movie.
Did you?
I can't do this anymore with you.
Because you're so. I'm asking you. I was trying to get you yes and continue. Perhaps you'll tell me why you enjoyed the movie, and then I'll chime in.
The movie, I kind of bought into the whole thing that starts in darkness, and I kind of thought, for some reason in my head, because maybe I've only seen like clips of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't shot very well, but it's shot lovely. Shot lovely. It's got Laszlo.
Kovacs.
Yeah, it looks great. The movie looks great. And I had heard that it was about Peter Guber. That's what it was originally about. Am I got that wrong too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because John Peters was the hairdresser.
That's what I meant. Okay. John Peters was the hairdresser, and Peter Guber was
eventually his partner.
Okay. But it was based on that.
John Peters was the hairdresser who started dating Barbra Streisand and then got his career as a producer that way, seemingly.
And then he partnered up with.
But I don't think the movie was actually about John Peters. It was reading up. There was other characters of that era that it was more about.
Oh.
So, because it's not like he wasn't dabbling in the movie business or show business in this movie.
Yeah.
He was just fucking everybody.
Right, which was so similar to my teens and 20s. I couldn't believe it. It was like pinch me, I said to myself, because that's what it was like for me every night. A better chick. Come on, you could have played with me.
No,
I'm so
that's
sick
why
of
I was
your
making
bullshit.
the stretch gesture.
Look, a lot of times I blame myself. I'm going to start blaming you.
Okay, that's great.
I actually, to be honest with you, why would I lie? My attention wavered at various times.
It's kind of a boring movie. That's why. It meanders a lot. It's because the main character doesn't really have anything that
there's nothing
wants,
behind the thing.
And he's not particularly sympathetic or soulful, so it's a lot like, I think he was a lot like Ash. Like, it reminded me of Ashby characters like Harold and Chauncey Gardner in the sense that it was this sort of detached person that things revolve around, but he wasn't proactive in controlling his life, Either was Chauncey Gardner really, but Harold and Maude was a very sort of socially passive character, but he was he was incredibly passive aggressive in his expression. You know, he wasn't lazy. He had these great complex suicide fantasy attempts.
Yes, it was just done in such
he could weld his car, his Jaguar into a Hearse-mobile, and he was an ambitious kid in his way. He just didn't give a shit about other people's ambitions.
It's hard to compare anything to that movie because it was so great.
Yeah.
So,
but there's lots of. I mean, even the last shot of this movie is almost the same as the last shot of Harold and Maude.
What was the last shot?
It was him looking down on from a cliff. Basically,
that was a nice shot.
As he loses, shortly after he loses the person he loves.
And also, I noticed there was a lot more smog back then.
Yes. I'm glad you really got all the marrow out of this movie.
Let me tell you something. My wife noticed that. Is that what you're going to do? Put it down? We like to watch, because we've been in Los Angeles a long time. We like to watch that, because a lot of it was in Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. So it was very, very lovely. The whole thing
takes place.
Right. The thing about it was, I thought that it's almost like you had to, now that I think about it, except that my attention wavered, so I don't know, I can't say I was with the movie the whole time. I could say that that meant it wasn't great, but I don't know that that's true. But it seemed like it had a tone sometimes that worked, but then it just would seem to, but then I couldn't quite nail it down.
Yeah, I don't think they could either. I don't think, I think it was very much meant to be satire, but it was so soft around the edges of the satire that you had to sort of look for the satire almost.
I mean, I like to think
these were a bunch of empty people, and it was taking place in the backdrop of the '68 inauguration or the election.
Right.
But no one was voting. No one was, no one was really talking about the election during, and that was part of the satire. Was these people are so detached from it, and yet there's this election night party.
Yeah, it's the '68 election.
Yeah. And then there's certainly the irony of Nixon's optimism that runs through it, and there's, but no.
I liked Goldie Hawn. I liked everybody in a certain level, but then nothing went anywhere. Nothing I think I think it's a fill in the blanks type thing. It was like, oh, she's interesting to just look at.
Right.
But maybe she had no character really, except loving.
It wasn't a great character, the Goldie Hawn character.
No. And Lee Grant was in the movie, and I had a meeting with Lee Grant many years ago.
Yeah.
So that was very exciting to me.
Yeah.
That's all I have on that story.
Okay.
I wish I had more. Oh, you know who was good? Who's the guy who was the banker in that first scene?
I don't know who that actor was.
I've seen him before. Yeah. But even that scene, which I actually enjoyed, that to me got close to where it could be interesting. The fact that he might not know anything about loans or relating to the guy, but it didn't seem to come together.
Yeah, it was meant to sort of show that he was self-sabotaging, but
I think that movie has been oversold to me.
I felt like it was oversold too. I think it was, I think it's a timepiece, but I don't think it's it didn't have anything really driving it. It didn't have a real idea behind it. It didn't feel like it was, it just didn't have enough story.
It didn't talk enough about haircuts.
It was a portrait of a feeling,
yes,
as opposed to a story.
That's exactly what it was. It was a portrait of the artist as a superficial figure.
Right.
Yeah. To paraphrase James Joyce, I wish I was smarter. I don't even think it is James Joyce. I think it's Faulkner.
Well, then you're really paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I'm sure he said something sort of like that.
Well, but here's the thing I will say for anybody out there who is thinking about watching it, unless you've all dozed off during my soliloquies, is an eminently watchable movie. Like, I kind of enjoy it, and I like the music in it.
I didn't like the music.
Let me finish.
There was like this weird, sparsely used thing from Paul Simon in it. That was kind of like...
That disappointed me.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm a huge Paul Simon fan, and for me to have the lead song in a movie be... What was he goddamn singing? He's Paul Simon, for God crying out loud.
I don't know.
And he was like doing... Dang.
Yeah, it was incredibly masturbatory.
It reminded me of La La Land. Because remember your favorite song from La La Land?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'd say I don't recommend it. If you're feeling feeling holes in your cultural education, go somewhere else first.
Yeah, I think people need to
certainly go to Harold and Maude and Being There if you're going down Hal Ashby Lane.
If you need to go down, no. First of all, both of those movies he's saying are both like some of my favorite movies of all time. I don't know why I have this voice, but I like it. But they're great movies. This is not a great movie.
No.
But I blame it now on Warren Beatty.
Yeah, I think you have to.
I enjoyed Reds, but I wouldn't enjoy it now, right?
I bet you would. It's a good movie.
But what's the deal? The Reds and the other team is... All right, now, are we ready for a fucking break?
Yeah,
I've been cursing.
I think we fucking are.
Why am I cursing more tonight?
I don't know, because you know that you need a little extra.
Yeah. Hey, note to self. This cursing seems to make things more exciting.
Yeah, gives it a little, as Emerald would say, gazunga.
I regret to announce that I did not listen. I think there's stuff in both sets I did.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen back to them.
Okay.
What are we going to listen to?
What are we going to do for you? Here's my pitch for homework next week for show 100.
Okay.
Let's both listen to episode 1.
Hugh, my friend, let me tell you something. It's an awful idea in terms of doing it.
It's so crazy.
It's necessary.
It's
necessary. I think we have to do it.
Okay, good.
And then we will argue about it, and we will blame each other for why it wasn't. I'm assuming.
I already know I came in with a pricky attitude at the beginning.
I can't wait.
Because I already remember that it's like, well, what's my posture going to be? Again, we had just come off the kids' court thing. So I was like, maybe I'll be cantankerous.
This is going to be good. I listened to early Mark Maron's.
Yeah.
They were, and they were such a different show. It was a completely different show. And, people called in or he spoke to David Cross on the phone. And so it was fun to listen to. And I'm wondering if me listening to me will be narcissistic enough for me.
I think it will. Because you're talking a lot about you were very therapy gung-ho back then.
I'm scared to hear how horrible I was back then.
It's only 100 episodes ago.
Oh, I did think before we leave the shampoo, I don't know.
Let's repeat with the shampoo. Yes? Before we leave shampoo, you had one more thought? Before my brilliant joke?
I forgot it. I'll come back to it. Something about, forget it already. This thing where I'm trying to, first of all, I think it's narcissistic to think that the thing that you forgot was so great that you have to stop the momentum of the earth.
Yeah.
And enlist everyone's help. Oh, my Copernicus. Hey, Chucho.
So you didn't bring a stand-up.
I did not bring a stand-up thing.
Well, then.
Do you want to do Is Spicy?
Yeah, let's do that. I haven't listened to this yet, but it's a phone recording of me making fun of Andy. Is It Spicy to the stage at the Improv the other night.
Is that the first time you did it?
Yeah, because it was the first time you had been in the same room going on before me.
I think
it seems like the only setup for that bit.
That bit is solid. Even I don't even care if they go, well, what if they don't know you? First of all, I'm lucky to be having a gig. What do I care? But the idea of it where you say, it is spicy. How's the jambalaya? Is it spicy?
Oh, it's just regular jambalaya.
Is it spicy? How about the etouffee?
You did it. Very good. Now you burned my bed. Way to go.
No. You know what? People will be like water, manna in the heaven. It'll be like, they will want to hear the real version after
All
that.
right. Well, then let's get to it.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-dum-bum.
Tomato.
I was just in Louisiana with Andy Kindler making a film. Yes. Thank you. That is, being in Louisiana with Andy Kindler is, what's the word, a liability. Every night at every restaurant, is it spicy? Is it jambalaya spicy? Well, yeah, it's jambalaya. It's just regular jambalaya. What about the etouffee? Is it spicy? But I had to play like this confident guy in the movie, and then, so I was like all worried I was going to have to shake all my self-doubt and all my shame and all my self-loathing. And then the director says, well, it's not a Jewish character. I'm like, all right, let's roll. But you can't play a Jewish character because Andy's in the movie. He's using all the Jew oxygen.
Well, okay, I'm not saying it worked that well. But, but I did want to show people that whole process from mocking you in person to mocking you on a podcast to mocking you on a live stage.
And selfishly, I love to be mocked.
I love to be mocked.
Right, and I love when you capture the essence. Yes. Yeah, because the is it spicy when you take it out of the? Is the question I'm actually answering. That's the question I'm asking.
Yeah.
But when you take it out into what it actually does sound like, it does sound. It's spicy. Well, it's just the regular way it's made there. It's regular jambalaya. I mean, I really. Should I try the etouffee? Now I'm doing Adam Sandler now.
No, you're still kind of doing you. That's the sad part.
Is that what they're going to say 15 years from now when I'm in Branson?
He's still doing him. Come to the noon show.
I couldn't have a Branson thing because Branson thing is based on that you had a following at one point.
Right. And you're not Jewish.
That's the thing. I really do feel like the Jewish thing is a big, although I've got most of my material from it, I think it's a big negative. Oh, I wish I was a Nazi.
You'd make such a good Nazi.
I would be, they don't have enough, there's probably like a whole niche of the hypersensitive Nazi.
Right.
Oh my God. Did that person look...
All four legs of that swastika are pointing at me.
I think that... I think that woman in the group of people that I sent to I can't even say these things.
No, you shouldn't.
But I wanted to come up with something that was less insulting than the Holocaust part. But the hypersensitive Nazi would be, I sent those guys I sent to the Russian front. It's like, I think they hate me. Is that the hypersensitive Nazi? Or is it more like, stop that. Stop it. Stop singing so loudly. Oh, why do people hate me? Because I'm a Nazi? The women hate me. Because I hate the Jews, now they hate me.
I don't look good in Hugo Boss.
I'm telling you. There's so much gold that we're not, I don't know if you mine gold. Is it mining gold?
Not in our case.
Panning for gold with Andy Kindler and Josh Elvis Weinstein.
Panning for gold in a pool.
So now you're looking for gold? That's fantastic.
In Josh's swimming pool? That seems unlikely.
And now, and we have Allison here.
That's depressing. That is absolutely heartbreaking.
Lou, turn the camera off, Lou. Lou? Did you know that Lou eventually did punch him once?
Sure.
Boom. I like milk.
All right. Well, it's clear that Chekhov's joint has been smoked.
Wait a second. What is this was that the name of a Chekhov play?
Yeah. Do I have to explain it to you?
I wish you would.
Okay. Chekhov said if you show the gun in Act 1, you have to use it in Act 3.
I never knew that.
So you showed the joint case in Act 1. And sure enough, during the break.
You know what's amazing? I've never seen any Chekhov. And Chekhov, I think, is another person I know nothing about. Unless he's a character from Star Trek. Chekhov, right?
Yes.
What is this character from Star Trek that sounds like Chekhov?
It's Chekhov. That's the character from Star Trek. Lou.
Lou? This is fantastic.
I was going for Costello in that case.
Oh, I can't keep up. I'm just yes-ending.
Who's Chekhov? It's Chekhov.
Oh! I wish my nickname was Bones. And that's the last time I'm going to say it.
Okay. I'm willing to.
Lorraine Newman today on Twitter. I'm just saying it because she's a friend. I don't brag.
She gave me a "that's funny" today, I think.
That's funny then.
Yeah.
She said, can we stop, please stop using the expression lady boner, please? And I never realized how horrible that was. I don't think I've heard it more than once or twice.
Of course you haven't.
Because I'm not in an office environment? Because I don't have women in my life. Because I was against suffrage.
Scrolling. Yes,
Because I insist upon polygamous Mormon style marriage.
Any of those. Also, you're unattractive to women.
I don't think that's a funny way to put it.
Oh, I should have flowered it
You're
up.
supposed to make it funny. You're making it sad. It's comedy, is tragedy, is really sad things like My Life
Right.
lightened up. It's like the song, which I love this song, Trailer for Sale or Rent, Room to Live. I love the song, but it doesn't make it sound fun to be like on the road and poor and have no place to live.
No, it doesn't. But it sounds cheap.
What do you mean, the price of the rooms?
Yes.
What are we doing to each other?
I don't know.
Are we making demo tapes for another type of podcast? Is this for like an NPR type thing?
It is. Roger Miller talk.
And we're out here on the Roger Miller hour. Why don't we just make an hour about things we like? Okay. I won't do
Today we're going to go short, but not too big around.
But then here's where I think I have OCD. I love that song, but then I'm obsessed with the fact that Roger Miller doesn't have a million. He probably didn't write that song, right? Or he did?
I think he might have.
But he doesn't have even another song that great.
No, but I fell in love with Roger Miller as the singing Alan O'Dale narrator of Walt Disney's Robin Hood. Robin Hood, Little John running through the forest, oodle-lolly, golly, what a day.
I don't know this part of your life.
Yeah.
Is this a musicale?
It was a Disney movie during their dark period where they're recycling tons of frames from things. But my brother and I saw it in the theater, so it took.
And how, like at a young age?
Very young age, yeah. And then we had an album. We had one of those Disney where it was, it was soundtrack from the movie telling the story compact.
It sounds very. I just keep remembering how excited I was about, which you didn't experience maybe, how excited it was to have color TV after black and white TV.
Yeah.
The thrill of those colors.
My father actually brought home our first color TV, which he had bartered for with a client.
What was his? What did he barter?
Legal services.
Oh, that's right. But you've told me he's done this before.
He did do that. He got off on the whole country lawyer thing for some reason.
But it was also very useful.
Well, I think
he helped people.
I think so. And he got paid without having to pay taxes. I think was another probable angle.
That's not, don't stress that part of the story because we're brought to the IRS is donating to us.
But I told you we had an account at a cheese shop that he did, so we would go pick up cheese once a week.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm turning into not a weather guy, but
I like that.
I like that. Is it a morning zoo guy?
It was a little bit.
Oh,
it was the weather guy on a morning zoo, waiting to do his thing.
Yeah.
So Andy, we hear you're doing a thing, and you go, and blah blah blah. It's kind of like that movie, and yeah, I like that.
I like.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get to the weather in a second, Andy, but
you know what it is? It's the parts of life where what you're saying is part of a custom or a social thing, and it's completely meaningless.
Right.
And I think when you're a DJ and you're announcing and all this stuff, after a while, it's just like feeling pretty good.
Right.
Everything. Well, that's whatever it is. It has to at some point stop being real.
Well, but it's like you. I mean, you have the fear of silence, just like a DJ does. It's just you just keep talking. Some people are better at it than others, but they'll set up a commercial instead of a punchline that never comes.
How do you think I'm doing now?
I think you're doing.
Did you know what I was doing?
You were doing sad, pouty, Andy.
No, I'm just doing somebody who's having a conversation and doesn't feel the need to. And for once in my goddamn life, can I just let other people talk and me react to it like a dull vegetable? I don't mean like a vegetable, like a dull as dishwater. I would call myself dull as dishwater when I'm not on pot.
Yeah, you really? That's a sad addict sort of way to view yourself.
It's the worst thing ever. You know what? I don't think. Are you the same way? You can't walk to get a book without smoking 12 joints. I was trying to portray. Why don't we do like a Cheech and Chong type of thing?
I think we are.
Is that what we're doing?
It seems like it.
All right. I always make that joke.
Andy's not here.
I want to do something. I want to get some. We have to do things that we can sell more, like a special.
Yeah.
No, I'm wasting time now. I don't know why I did that, and I apologize for that. And this is my worst personality yet. Is the guy who won't even allow you to criticize how horrible I am.
Yeah.
Because I override it.
Right.
Hey.
No, I'll wait.
What day was today? What's the day today? Do you know?
It doesn't matter.
All day? Okay, look. Is there anything else that happened to you over the week that you need to talk about, want to talk about? Did you buy something online that was interesting?
That was our one shit, man.
Oh, we're going right to the questions?
I hope so.
Now, here's something, you have been stockpiling the emails?
I've not been stockpiling the emails. I've been neglecting the emails. Stockpiling would indicate a certain deliberateness to my plan, whereas neglecting my emails is a sad side effect of my life.
Well,
so rather than go to Twitter questions tonight, I figure we would go through some emails, and I would clear my conscience.
Very good.
And also get some work done that I don't have to do.
I'd like to clean my palate if it's possible.
Yeah, okay.
Now, why is it not okay for me to be a little morning zooey here? Oh, because I should be funny too. Okay, I got it. Fun. If I'm going to be ridiculous, I should try to be funny.
Yeah.
Or silent.
Or ridiculous.
Or ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good, Josh. Sounds pretty good. So how many are you behind? Well, you can't say behind. You're not going to catch up to everything.
No, but we're going to make a dent tonight. Well, we're going to go with Gordon as his name. There's some disconnect between his name and his email and the name he signed it by.
I'm comfortable with
that. We're not using last names for the emails.
That's a good thing.
So this is Gordon says, have either of you ever gone to a chiropractor? If so, did you feel the treatment worked? And what are your overall thoughts on the chiropractic profession?
I have
That's
not.
one.
I have not.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I won't say I'll never want to go, but I'm a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
Have you gone?
I've gone a couple times. It's never been particularly helpful for what I went for. My father had to go a couple. He had sciatica things too, and he used to refer to them as the doctor.
Why the doctor?
Because of the quackery.
Your father was dry.
Always dry.
So your father, if he was here right now, he would be bantering it up with us, right?
Yeah, he'd kick our asses probably.
Wow. My dad, you know what my dad would be saying?
But he also did dialects and stuff when, his real, he felt, I think, his calling was actual joke telling.
Well, do you think he was too?
He was very good at it, yeah.
That's good.
But he was very deliberate. He'd hear a joke and you could see him ingesting it.
Right.
And,
remembering all the various...
making tweaks with the dialects and things.
I tweak everything.
Sure.
Or I think or I feel like I'm tweaking.
This one's funny. Let me tweak it.
Is that a comment about me?
Yeah.
It's very upsetting.
Really?
No.
You don't seem that upset.
It's the Bob and Ray version of being upset.
So my favorite chiropractor joke is a Simpsons joke where Homer went to the chiropractor and they finish his cracking treatment and he goes, "Oh my God, that's amazing. I feel a little better." And that's pretty much how.
I can remember times in my life when someone's like cracked my back and I can remember it feeling good, but then couldn't I have just as easily have gotten
crumpled to the ground
and paralyzed?
Yeah.
So I think next time you want to go and crack your bones, stop, wait 10 seconds and punch yourself in the face.
All right.
I didn't mean that punch yourself. Good tip. Pro tip.
The second part of Gordon's question is, have you ever been around a method actor and do you think the ends justify the means? For example, is it okay for Daniel Day-Lewis to be a big enough pain during film using method techniques that the acclaim from his movies makes it worth it?
I think the acclaim for his movies definitely makes it worth it if he's doing it, if it's good.
Right.
And it's definitely worth if that's what he has to do. But I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of, First of all, I can't do it, so maybe that's why I'm not a fan of it.
Right.
But there's something weird to me about I need to be like a serial killer if you're playing a serial killer.
Right.
I mean, that's the extreme example, but
Yeah.
it is extreme, but
it's not really.
okay, then forget that example. Why don't you weigh in, and I'll rethink my...
I haven't done enough acting for it to be a problem for me. And, so, as it's, if someone is treating other actors badly, it's a problem, because I think you can allow every actor their space to do what they need to do to get where they need to get. But if your thing is trampling on someone else's thing, then it's not good coworkering.
Also,
but on the flip side, if it's not my movie, I don't care.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And
you let go of control.
If the director made it all work on screen, then, I don't really care how someone, unless they were, criminals on set, I don't really care about how they behaved in the making of the movie so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I cared about how Warren Beatty behaved to Hal Ashby, but that was in the context of watching Shampoo.
Right. We're not uncaring people. I'll say that right off the bat. No, it's not.
Oh, this isn't going to be a good
No,
hour.
you can tell. You can tell. It's like you might have to. Do you have like things that you can sweeten the show with, like sounds of me falling down the stairs?
I think we'll have that figuratively enough. David says, Andy and Jay Elvis, my son and I attended the alternative show at Yuck Yucks in Vancouver last night. This is how far behind I am. My son and I are huge fans of Andy and Thought Spiral. My son approached Andy after the show and had a short conversation, and Andy was gracious enough to take a selfie with him. Andy, I want you to know how thrilled my son was both to see you perform and to speak with and get a photo with you. It gave him and me much nachas.
Oh, I can't. I was going to do some kind of an insult comic reaction, but that's just nice. I want to say now my mind says, well, don't you want to remember what the incident was? Incident? Why don't you remember what the anecdote? There's nothing good about my second sentence, but that's cool. But that I think now I'm suffering. You know why I'm suffering? Because you waited too long to respond to the letter.
Okay, if you need that, that's fine. Ryan says,
what if I really needed that?
Well, then we'd probably have a different friendship.
We'd have to wait. We'd have to wait for the music to start.
Ryan says, and did you do you guys listen to records, vinyl?
I don't.
No, I don't either anymore. And did you get rid of all your records when CDs came along? I don't know why I'm curious, but I am. Do you guys have the time to listen to music with all the cable news and podcasts that you seem to be occupied with?
He's bringing up. Is it a he?
It's Ryan. Yes.
Ryan's bringing up a lot of very solid things that relate to my life. Like, I wish I did listen to more music. I do, but I don't listen to. But you do listen to a lot of music.
I don't really. I listen in the car and I listen in the kitchen. But it's not like I used to at all. It's not an activity and like it used to be. But I went through cassettes because I was a teenager during the Walkman revolution.
Oh.
So I kind of went from vinyl to cassettes to CDs.
Does that mean you have less detritus? Detritus? Something like that. Does it mean you have less things?
Yeah, I don't have a
things.
big vinyl collection. I never had a big one.
I'm very cognizant of the first 5 albums I had. I keep thinking about it more and more, like just the fact that when you could say you had 5 albums or 7 albums, you thought of it, life was moving slower then and it seemed monumental. So I had like The Doors, but I didn't have the best Doors. Now in retrospect, I had Waiting for the Sun. It's not the best Doors album, but it's great. I loved it. I had Disraeli Years.
Right.
I had Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Deja Vu.
Okay.
I had Elton John's Tumbleweed Connection. Blood, Sweat, and Tears, whatever that album was called.
What goes up must come down. Was it that one?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Ride a painted pony, let the spinning wheel spin.
And I also remember getting a Hendrix album right after he died.
Yeah.
So one with the year was, I don't even know what year that was.
71?
Yeah. And I don't know why I think it's significant when I think back to how I was as a person in 71 or whatever. Maybe it was just interesting to me, but or maybe I think I should be a hero. People go, I can't believe it. Tumbleweed Connection.
Right. Man. Wow. I'm sorry. That's where you were going. Wow. That's a cool 5 albums you had.
That's
your
it.
First 5
That's
albums.
it. That's all it really is.
Yeah.
I think I need
wow.
to. I think
that's a pretty good foundation for a life full of good taste.
It really is. I think it's tough love toward really hating myself, upping it a notch.
Yeah.
Just totally realizing that I'm a phony, calling it out. And I think, I'm not saying people want to hear that. I could keep going with the charade.
Sure you could. But charades are silent.
Is that true?
Well, charades is silent.
Oh.
Kevin said, Dear Josh and Andy, would you consider a subscription service where Andy called to wake up listeners each morning? If so, what would these calls sound like? And if I'm relying on Andy for my morning wake-up call, how late will I get to work most days? Sincerely, Kevin.
Well, I think it's have to be, you can't rely on me making the calls or it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
All I can think of is Imus is the only person I remember when you do that. Wake up and the wake up thing. I have never thought about it. It sounds like there's money in it.
Sure.
But it doesn't sound like there's a lot of money in it. And then when they do those, I'll leave a thing.
Andy, I will give you $1,000 to call me with a funny wake-up call right now.
Let's do it. Okay, you ready? Josh. Hey, Josh, you up? Josh.
My phone rings.
Do you want me to do the ringing sound?
I do.
Wait. Ba 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 da ba da ba da ba da ba doo boo.
Hello?
God, the acting. Hi, it's Andy Kindler.
Andy Kindler?
Yes. You know what? Why I'm calling Josh?
What?
Because one of your friends stupidly gave me $150 to call you live and wake you up. So, Josh, get out of bed. Andy Kindler says, get out of bed, buddy.
Can you call back in 9 minutes?
Oh. Why would you say 9 minutes?
Snooze button.
Snooze button. You know, that was my DJ name for a while.
Mad Dog and Snooze Button in the morning.
I gotta tell you.
Hey, Snoozy, how are you?
Pretty good. I had a night last night where I was like walking around feeling pretty good, and all of a sudden I was like, whoops.
It's Mad Dog and Snooze Button in the morning. Mad Dog and Snooze Button. We'll be right back. Seth says.
All right. Seth says.
I'm sorry, did you have another?
I don't think it's fine. Yeah, I always have another.
Did you have another stanza?
I have another everything.
All right.
So it's best that you cut it off.
Seth says, what do you get when you eat peas? Inner peas, he says. Seriously, how good is that joke? I think I made it up, but it's so good, I'm worried I might have stolen it accidentally. Anyway, Josh, please pass that along to Andy. I'm guessing he might appreciate it. Peas out. Sorry, Seth.
I think it's a solid joke.
Okay, good.
And but I would be deathly afraid that it's been done before, and that's how I live my life.
Peacefully.
Chacho. Peacefully. I know that wordplay is good.
It was all. I remember that was I love that was my favorite one. He was the villain of Batman, Peahead. I want you to leave peacefully. Tune in next week, and we'll get another piece of.
Is that really a?
They had Egghead, and so I was.
Are you
making a play on that?
Are you pitching me things that you did when you were a kid?
It'll be extravagant.
Would you believe? Would you believe?
Jamie wants to know. Jamie from Memphis wants to know. Was just watching the Larry Sanders Show.
Thank you.
Season 2 finale.
Thank you. Oh, it's not me.
During Larry's opening monologue, he mentioned that one of his guests would be none other than Andy Kindler. I knew better than to get my hope up because guests are frequently mentioned but not seen. Still, what a rip. I'm curious, Andy, were you asked, like I assume you were, and was it annoying to have only your name used? Are you a fan of the show? I like it, but could use some Andy. Also, hi, Josh. You should be there, too. Yeah.
Well, I was...
Hold on one sec. Thanks. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, but what was his compliment towards you?
It wasn't one. You should be there too. He said it through it.
Like in what way? How could that happen?
So I'd read to the end. Apparently,
I think it was more like Judd called me up and said, "Hey, maybe he asked me, but I don't think he. I mean, he knew I'd be thrilled, so it wasn't like, anything.
hey, we're using your name."
Yeah, I was thrilled. The best part of it was that the people who were the gas station people who were near where my mom lives in Queens, for our whole childhood and up until I kept in touch with them up until I was like 30, 35, they were like real. They said, "We waited for your son to be on the thing. He wasn't on the thing."
Yeah.
So that was that's the downside of it. But later on,
that was the collateral damage it caused.
Yes, and it's it's hard to talk about. Later, I was actually on the show because Rick. I know you know it, but it's good to remind the listener.
No,
Rick Overton was out of town, and I did the thing, and it was a very nerve wracking, but it was a thrill.
You did the thing?
I did an acting thing where I played myself, and they had canceled me because Bob Odenkirk's character Stevie was having a feud with Janine Garofalo's character Paula.
Gotcha.
Oh my God! You know what? Is this a prank
I vaguely
show?
remember it.
What's that?
I vaguely remember seeing it.
Yeah.
We weren't as close at the time.
We weren't as close at the time.
Joe DeLuca sent us. He says, "Really looking forward to your 100th show spectacular. Will you be doing a monologue? If so, I encourage you to engage outside joke writers as well. You guys will be busy enough with all the sets and costume changes." So he sent us sample jokes. He wrote 7 Josh jokes and 7 Andy jokes. So we're not going to read them all. But if you'd like to pick a Josh joke, pick a number 1 through 7, and I'll read you his sample joke.
Let's go with number 4.
Number 4. This is Josh. The Journal of Sociology reports that a person who starts a sentence with, "I'm the least racist person in the world," never ends the sentence with a 3-bean salad recipe.
Man, he's loosey goosey with this.
Yeah. How about an Andy?
What number? Give me a 2. Give me a 2.
I should have said 2.
Is that really it?
No, that was Rodney Dangerfield from Caddyshack.
Oh.
That's when he goes 4, hits someone in the nuts, and goes, "I should have said 2.
That's very good. I only saw the movie once.
And you didn't remember that joke?
No.
30 years later?
No, I saw it recently is the sad part.
That is sad. A 2, this is Andy. Can I get a ruling on a psychologist who keeps interrupting me with, "That's what she said"?
Seriously, that can't be if that's what your psychologist is saying, I don't think you can see that person anymore.
We're moving on to Adam, who says former golfer Chichi Rodriguez is sitting between Richard Belzer and Dennis Miller on a cross-country flight. What were they discussing before the air marshal came over?
I like the elaborate setup.
It really is nice.
Hey, nice to play with you, Chi-Chi.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Babe, can you pass me the...
Who I can't. Who are you?
Hey,
yeah,
I'm Bells.
Okay,
I'm the Bells.
Oh, the Bells. Okay,
pass me the Charleston Chews, Chi-Chi.
You got it, Bells. Now, Bells, you live in France now, isn't that true?
Oui, babe.
I think this. I can see now why it didn't turn out to be a sketch person, because it's so much pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. Dave says, "Hi, fellas. I don't think you made it clear in your review, but the gimmick about the surveillance in the Anderson tapes is that Anderson himself is never the target, but everyone he talks to is. That's why so many different tapes have to be erased at the end. No one wants to be caught with evidence of a criminal conspiracy that went unreported. It's probably a flaw in the film. This wasn't really clear, and a lot of other people miss it. I don't think I caught it until the 2nd or 3rd time I saw the movie, so don't feel bad if you missed it. I heard every last test show, and you guys are an inspiration." I think I did mention that you missed the very end of it, that's how it wrapped up. But.
Well, thank you also for saying we were an inspiration. But the thing is, I wonder, I guess my question would be, is the movie better when you know what they were doing?
It's not enough for me to go back for the 2nd or 3rd viewing it would take to understand what it was intending. No, I kind of got it, but I didn't, it wasn't enough. The irony wasn't enough to make the movie work for me.
Shout out to me during the days when I would buy DVD collections thinking, oh, I'm going to listen to the director's cut of Wings.
George wants to know, can you recommend a brand style of earbuds? And then he goes on to show that he has used a lot of them. He's never spent more than $30.
I don't think you can get a good pair for $30. I don't think I've ever. I don't even think I know what a good pair is.
Yeah.
I don't like the Apple ones. They sound pretty bad. I have not solved the problem.
You don't like the AirPods?
I don't know them.
No?
What are they called?
The AirPods, the wireless Apple ones?
I have an old. Is that what you get a new iPhone?
No?
You can't plug in your phone to the new iPhone, right?
Oh my God, I'm talking to a fucking...
And let me ask you a question. Josh.
Will we wipe the applesauce off your chin?
I have something on my chin?
No.
Oh.
Josh. You went to Louisiana, right? So we went to this. Can you tell people it's spicy?
That's going to be me at the show business home. Hey, Josh, remember when I used to do it? Is it spicy? No, I used to do it.
I love how your premise is me visiting you at the show business home.
No, we are living there together.
No, we're not.
No, we are.
No, we're not.
Oh, my God. I have just conjured the most depressing visual image in my mind of me and you.
And I rejected it immediately.
No, but I'm saying there could be no choice.
No.
It could be like one of those.
Reject your image.
It could be a no choice then. You could have fallen off a ladder.
Yeah, okay. If I'm vegetative, then I could see it happening.
And think of me 10 years from now putting the same amount of effort I'm doing currently.
I'd be in a vegetative state, and you'd still be just waiting for your turn to speak.
And I'd still be going, now, thank you. I want to thank all of the Josh family. I know you're worried that he's in a vegetative state, but I want to tell you something about that. It sounded like that when we were doing the Boris Karloff bit.
Hello? Beep.
Beep. Beep. I don't get the beep. Is it like a phone machine?
Impression of me in the home.
In the home. I visit Josh in the home. He's sitting around with the nurse. I want to get old even quicker, and I want to do the Sunshine Boys, and I want to do something in Cerritos.
Yeah.
And I want to do like Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
And I want to do Jewy type things like the 10,000-year-old man. I want to go to Carl Reiner's house.
Yeah.
And do the 10,000-year-old man with him. Or me and you do it.
You're like an old Veruca Salt right now. So earbuds, I don't have a beloved earbud. I use AirPods and I use the Beats by Dre with wires. Are they good? I'm using it right now. They're a little bassy, but it makes me sound good.
Well, it sounds like it's overload.
Oh yeah.
It's not like house speakers when I used to work in the stereo store.
They're designed for the hip hop.
All right, but don't you want even?
I bought them from an airport vending machine.
I love those.
A Best Buy vending machine.
I love those. Best Buy? I love it. They always are, they're price guaranteed. Oh, God. Oh, my God. This is what you would, though, if you were, like, locked into radio and didn't know you died, emotionally.
Yeah.
You would be saying things like, they have a great deal, and if you go before 9 o'clock, you get a free donut.
And if you drag another vending machine with a better price over to that machine, they'll beat it.
Right. Nobody beats the whiz.
James says, hi, guys. Just a few thoughts I had listening to Test Show 94. Okay, we're getting closer.
Man.
When you said that that during the Getting Doug with High, everyone was waiting for Andy to stop talking, but he never did, all I can say is, thank God. You were the show, Andy. Doug never says much, does very little, smokes very little, and is not funny. Andy searching for a joke is more hilarious than most people's jokes. And all you have to do is look at the camera and smile like, wasn't that a good try? And I'm on the floor. Whatever it is you think you suffer from, my friend, don't ever let anyone ever try to cure it. That show would have been a snooze fest without you on it. And then he goes on to try to convince you to microdose.
Ooh, I might microdose. I can see myself microdose. Well, thank you very much. The dynamic I was concerned about was making sure that I wasn't going to, like, I know Greg Proops wasn't happy, so I didn't want you to be unhappy. The whole thing's a weird show.
I ended up unhappy, though, so.
You know what? And that's actually, I feel good about that.
Good.
Because God forbid you should have a bad night.
No, but I did, is my point.
What's that?
I did, is my point.
I'm going to start making gestures to you like we're in a studio.
Okay. Steven says, this is for Josh. When you started on MST3K, you already had significant stand-up experience. In stand-up, you have real-time feedback from the audience and can always change up your act for the next show. When you transition to a sit-down comic, writing for a show, how does that change affect your approach to comedy? You only have one shot, and you can't really test it out on several audiences. Well, I think the muscle develops so that you get a confidence about the quality of a joke, and ultimately, if you get that confidence, then that confidence sort of hopefully translates to the person who's saying the joke, and
Yeah.
then it's delivered well, But, you miss sometimes too. But I feel like I know what a good joke is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
At a certain point, I know what a good joke is. Now, I may be wrong about whether it works or not.
Right.
But I can objectively say, okay, that's a solid joke.
Right. And now you're not saying that you can always come up with a joke.
No, I mean, I think, you always fill the hole that you need to fill.
No, I mean, you can't. Yeah, right. I know what you're saying. You can do the assignment. But I guess what I'm asking is like, you know what a joke is, but I do think that there is that part of it like where it just comes to us in a way. And all those aren't of equal power. I don't know what I'm saying. They're not all equal, all the thoughts that come. Don't you feel that some of them come from nowhere? Maybe that's the better question. Do you feel they come from nowhere? Or do you consciously always think of what you're saying?
I think both. Both happen. But
sometimes.
I feel like I've developed the ability to fill a joke hole. You know what I mean? I don't have to wait for inspiration to strike for me to write a joke.
I think I do because I don't think I have enough experience writing.
Yeah.
But maybe I don't do that with my own act, though, but I think I would do it. Every time I've written for somebody, it's been hard for me.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of it, I would think. Or writing for a project. Right. I haven't done that many, but they seem hard. I don't know. Sometimes when I think about writing, I feel like, why do I have to? Did you give me a narcissistic pill? It's unbelievable. Why do I have to turn it into me? Enjoy your writing on your own. I'm happy taking an occasional schwitz.
All right. Wait, this is a perfect time for well played. Teresa says, hi, Josh and Andy. Do you guys have thoughts on the WGA versus ATA feud over packaging fees? I'm not ready for an agent yet, probably not until I go back to school and have more and longer scripts, but I'm wondering if there are questions relevant to this issue that one should ask before signing with an agent.
I don't know enough about it. Do you?
Well, it's really only the big four agencies that this is relevant to, but I'll try to explain it simply, I guess. There's the big agencies will sometimes do what's called packaging a show. And that means that they will sign a deal with a studio or a network that says we will essentially provide all the talent for the show, or at least a lot of the talent. And in order to have the packaging on the show, you're generally going to have the showrunner and at least one of the stars. And so basically, the agency is getting a fee from the producer, a packaging fee it's called, to bring this talent to the table. As a result, they can't take commission from the talent who are from their agency. They can't double dip. But there's a great deal of controversy as to whether that's a conflict of interest, which is if they aren't getting commission from the client,
they're getting it from the producer.
Their incentive to get the client the most money is no longer there. And in fact, the incentive is to get it under the packaging fee, they have, as essentially shareholders in the show.
Right.
They have an incentive to not necessarily get the client the best amount of money and then tell the client, well, at least you're not paying commission,
Oh, God.
So the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, has an agreement with the Association of Talent Agencies that is about to expire. And they're basically demanding that the agencies drop the packaging business, which seems unlikely.
Like William Morris and
Endeavor, CAA,
okay.
and
ICM?
ICM, maybe. I don't think ICM, well, maybe.
No management. Management does it. Managers do it by a different thing. They do
UTA,
it by...
maybe.
Okay. Managers do a different thing by just charging it.
Well, managers take producer fees. That's a whole
Right. They
that's
take
a
the
different
producer fee.
scam
It's the same
going on.
thing.
Yeah,
It can be the same thing.
Same kind of deal. Yeah. That's kind of where the negotiation is at. Is there's been mostly an impasse. There's a great many showrunners who just signed a letter of support for the WGA's position.
Wait.
Who say that they will fire their agents if there's no deal.
Wow. What do you think is going to happen?
I'm not sure. I think what's ultimately going to happen is everyone will end up having to fire their agents, and then the agents will be very selective about who they take back after it's over, and it'll be a way for agencies to just end up shifting rosters around and dumping deadweight clients. And I think it'll hurt writers probably, but
I think it's a necessary thing.
Well, I mean, in terms of the fiduciary duty of an agent, yeah, it's a conflict of interest for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think that the WGA isn't wrong, and I support the WGA, but I don't have an agent right now, so I don't really have skin in the game. But I think that the nasty side effect of if it happens is that agencies will use it as a way to dump clients.
Well, and the other thing is that it sounds like just a thing like that benefits big agencies and big actors, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much that's it.
And it sounds ridiculous to me. In a way, I mean, it sounds ridiculous that it sounds ridiculous the way it's shaped. But I maybe I'm wrong about that. But maybe there was a time in the past where it really needed to be part of it. The packaging. I don't know enough about the history of it.
No,
but it sounds like just
no. It's a money grab for producers.
Yeah.
I mean, because agencies are basically starting studios. So it's a bunch of self-dealing that goes on.
Yeah.
And MCA years ago had to get out of the agency business because they were a studio too.
Well, that's the thing now is like CAA has their own agent. They have an agent. You know what I mean?
Studio, you mean?
Like the company CAA could have an agent.
Yeah.
An agent that represents them.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not quite saying what the accurate version of what I mean is, but it's the idea that they're in business for themselves.
Right.
And their
brand is more important than yours, and I always felt that when I was at CAA for a while, and I always sort of felt like their whole place was designed to make you feel like we're bigger than you.
Well, I was just somewhere recently where there were Liechtenstein. There were just really great. Where was I?
The Liechtenstein, the two-story Liechtenstein in the lobby of the CAA office, which is no longer the CAA office.
No, it was some other thing. This is frightening, but it had all kinds of stuff down in the lobby. It was like I'm not understanding what it was. It's like a SAG place.
Well, I sure as hell am not either.
But I remember when like these, like you are in a sense paying for the collections that your big agents will have. I mean, someone's paying for it.
Sure.
But I don't know. That seems so out of my realm of life that it seems like a dream. Those kind of. Like when I was not necessarily younger or whatever, but or they weren't vying over me, but it seems like a long ago type of ritual.
Yeah,
that was
being in show business.
No, it's more like I don't know. I've been with some agencies and things like that. Like I was with Paradigm, but it was so briefly bad that I don't know. I've never been with a big company.
I was with a few of them over the years, and they're creepy places to me. To me, they were. But I'm not, I'm creeped out by show business, kind of.
I can see that. Yeah.
Chris says, hey, Andy, I bought a ticket to your 10 p.m. stand-up show in Aurora that ended up not happening. I'm sorry they made you do that terrible improv.
Well,
I wanted to tell you that listening to Thought Spiral and other podcast appearances gets me through my day at work. I appreciate how open and honest you are. It helps me with some of my confidence issues and fears as an aspiring jazz musician. Thanks for all that you do.
That makes me very happy. I feel bad when people...
So he jabbed at you with the bad improv, but he came back.
He came back. The thing is that I can't even evaluate it objectively. I had fun doing it. So it was like there was no tickets sold to the late shows, but I could see if you were coming to see me at a late show, not that you would be destroyed emotionally, but you would be disappointed.
Sure.
So I feel bad about that. And I feel like he watched the show, the 10 o'clock show, maybe?
Apparently.
Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing,
said
too.
You did improv both nights.
Yeah, I think if you the whole thing now sounds like a disappointment for all of the 2 Andy Kindler people who showed up.
Yoshi sent us a list of some topics for a State of the Industry address. That's a good start. Thanks, Yoshi.
Oh, cool.
Here's the bestiality rap song from Amelia Fox that I rejected. I'm sorry if I was mean about it, Amelia, but it's not a running joke I want to perpetuate.
Did Amelia write to you about it?
No, I'm going back. Sometimes I see the mail as it comes in.
I see, yeah.
But I don't answer it.
I never see the mail, and that's the name of my autobiography.
Right.
I can't see the mail anymore. I've got mail, and I'm not aware of it.
And a third thing?
You've got mail.
Okay. Fletcher says, longtime listener, I always look forward to the next show. I'm from Minneapolis. I live in New York. Interested in hearing about some Twin Cities memories, anecdotes, or favorite bars/restaurants, etc.
Are we interested, or is he interested?
He was saying he was.
Oh.
It's hard for me to just pull an anecdote out, but I love Minneapolis. I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Oh, I like the way you segued that.
And it's very important to me that people come because I'm recording my album on April 10th and 11th at Acme Comedy Company. I would love for you to be there and audibly enjoy the experience along with me.
It seems so quick that it's come up now.
It's coming up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Couple weeks.
We're all excited here at the Thought Spiral Studios about it.
Yes. But Minneapolis was a great town to grow up in, and it was a great town to start doing stand-up in, and,
I hear you.
There you go.
It's hard when you're from someplace, and it's like when I did my first round of interviews.
Yeah.
And then you realize, like, 2 years later, you're going to be doing these forever.
Right. I should start doing them like Groucho Marx.
Andy, who was one of your influences? I'm
never under the influence.
You made that you made me doing those automatic pilot style answers not fun anymore.
I'm good. I feel good about that. Marie sent a recommendation for a vegan cookbook that you might like, because you said you were talking about needing a new veggie in your repertoire.
Oh.
So
did I really? But it's not, I don't have to be completely vegan.
No. You just said you wanted some new vegetables in your life.
I do need that.
And so she was recommending a vegan cookbook, which would put some pop in your
I would enjoy that, because all I can think of now.
It's called The Food Lab by Kenji Lopez Alt. That's her recommendation. So everyone take note.
I will check that out.
I'll forward it to you.
Or I can join Blue Apron again.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
I miss Cal.
You should not join that or microdose.
I know you're not going to allow me to microdose, because I know it's going to be. I'm going to take it. I'm not going to microdose.
You're not going to microdose. No.
I'll microdose the first day. I'll microdose the second day. The third day, I have a horrible trip.
Exactly. I enjoy microdosing. I should take more. Steven says, I just watched Bridge Over the River Kwai this past weekend. It's a classic. What the hell? Plot holes, unbelievable characters, slow-moving scenes, more than saying it doesn't hold up. I don't get why it was lauded in the first place. Just nostalgia for World War II?
I think it's terrible.
What other old classics don't deserve that status, even for their time?
Well, I'll tell you something. That movie, I remember liking the song. Bah, bah, wah, quack. They had a song, didn't they? Or am I... Okay, so I like that, but it's just terrible. It's a terrible movie. I can't justify it in any way. I could justify maybe The Great Escape.
Yeah,
that seemed like it was
That's
fun.
a good movie. Yeah,
but this one, I think it. Do they put people in the box?
One of the most memorable things from a movie is the whistling. You're in trouble, I think. I agree. It's not a great movie. It's a lot of big grand shots with little action happening.
It's like what kind of acting is that? Meatball?
Yeah, it's meatball acting, Andy.
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me after the show either.
It's fish and chips acting.
I don't know why I said it. Meat and potatoes is what I meant.
Because we said Hawkeye Pierce earlier, maybe? It's meatball
That
acting.
meatball surgery. Back in those days, they only had a couple of ways to describe surgery. One was meatball surgery.
Patrick wanted me to know, Josh, Andy completely missed your tampon joke during your drug discussion, and I laughed for minutes straight. Just letting you know. Thank you, Patrick.
Have I still missed it?
Huh?
What's your tampon joke?
You missed it. You did. I remember. You missed it.
You can't tell me now?
No. What's the point?
Is it funny stuff, though? Funny stuff? Is it something like, ladies, are you with me on it?
Yeah, something like that. No, it was you going through your grandma's medicine cabinet looking for anything with Von at the end or on at the end. I said, like, tampon, and you just kept going.
I did not get that at all.
I know. Patrick knows, too. Robbie
Oh, my
wants...
God, you're building some crazy alliances there.
Robbie is offering us, he has started a coffee roasting company called Raw Beans Coffee. And
Raw beans?
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
And wants to send us some.
How can you turn that down?
So he wants to know if there's a P.O. box. We could email him that. Can we send it to your P.O. box?
Sure.
Okay, cool. We'll get back to you, Robbie. Thanks. Abdullah wants to know, hi, you've probably been asked this before. I'm not asking for it. I'm asking what are the chances, if it were possible as an option, that the 100th podcast would be, or a future episode of Thought Spiral were to happen at Andy's residence. Oh, so now I'm the bad guy?
Look, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I'll tell you this right now, out of the gate. It's not going to be something, it's going to be like looking into the Al Capone's vault. It's not going to be a gold mine of...
No, but I'm curious how you'll find a way to be late, nonetheless.
You nailed me with that one, baby. Are you okay?
Oh, God.
Are you okay?
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Are you okay? I heard you're okay now, but last week it was rough.
All right. I feel like we did it.
I think we did a show that I'm proud of.
Yeah. Me too.
If you have any questions, do the thing.
Yeah.
If you want to go do this, do the other thing. And don't forget to do this. But actually, we should do the one main plug, which is April 10th and 11th.
April 10th and 11th at Acme Comedy Company. I'll be there the 9th through the 13th, but the 10th and 11th are especially important because I'll be recording my first stand-up comedy album. So, Minneapolis, come on out and help me out.
I've never seen you so...
Go to acmecomedyco.com.
A little less desperate.
Acme Comedy Company.
Okay, now a little bit more arrogant.
I think you'll make the trip worthwhile. I think, duh.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you come see me?
Look, it's your choice.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. And we're tuning out.
I like that tuning. Ooh. Good night, Timothy Leary. Or something like that.
Something like that.
Turn in.
Good enough. I got to go catch a plane in the morning.